started.
All right.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for joining, first off. I know
You're
you
welcome.
got busy day too, and then you had to carve some time out of your day to hop on here. So the main thing I wanted to start off, because we'll ask some questions, and there's a few people on here, and I'll just have them like message me through that app, just chat if they got questions afterwards. So if you could just kind of don't do, like, usually when I ask, hey, just tell us a little bit about yourself, people, give us like a 5-minute spiel so we can start asking questions. I think you got a pretty damn cool story from like start to finish. You told me some of it, but I don't know all the details, and it goes even further back from when you were even starting the training business, because I mean, you're an Olympic athlete. So
yeah, I'd love to. I'll share. Okay, cool. Well, thank you first off, Nick, for having me. I really, I'm honored to be able to share my story with you and your team, and hopefully it resonates with some of them. And then I know we're going to talk strategy and coaching and training and all the rest here in a little bit. But to start off, I started off I studied exercise science in college and kinesiology, and I graduated from that. And I didn't really know what my next step was going to be in life. And I knew I loved to compete. I competed in track and field in college. And so I continued on that route. So I kind of put on hold my real world experiences to kind of go in, keep competing. And I ended up in my first tryout for the sport of bobsled, I made the national team. And this is, 15 years ago now. But that took me on a journey for about 6 years where I got to travel the world and compete at World Cup internationally, World Championships. And I didn't quite make an Olympic Games, but came pretty close. But, that gave me a lot of perspective on a lot of things. And I the way things went, it was a really cool experience. And then about 2009, after my 6-year stint of bobsled, I had to find a real job, and I actually moved out to Utah for the sport, and I didn't think I was going to stay out here for any length of time, and I applied for jobs in personal training, and I started at a big box gym in Salt Lake City. And so I started kind of the way a lot of your trainers have started, and kind of grow through the ranks. And from there, I just I did a ton of research on how I could better serve my clients and my people, and it led me to kind of better systems, better ways to deliver a personal training product. I've used mentors like you do, and I'm mentored by Rachel and Alan Cosgrove, Mark Fisher, Michael Keeler, some of the best in the industry. And early on, I joined with Rachel and Alan Cosgrove, their mentorship group, and they taught me a lot about the business aspect of it, because we're all personal trainers and we don't really think about the business aspect of it. But it got me really in a place where I could deliver a better product. And so once I started doing that, I got to the point where the place where I was training, which was a unique system they had, where I got to come on as an independent they didn't like the fact that I was reaching more and more people and competing with their programs. And so they fired me. They let me go. So probably one of the best and most scariest moments in my training career was, it happened 2 days before Christmas. I had to kind of scramble, and I ended up opening a gym in less than a week. So that kind of brought it's what was Epic Fitness was born then. So once that happened, it really it was a complete huge change for me. We were just about to have our second kid. My wife was like 8 months pregnant when that happened with our second child, and a lot of life things happened. But it was a really cool experience to get to. I don't know. I probably would still be there at that gym if that hadn't happened. You know what I mean? Like if I hadn't had that like push off the boat and I hadn't jumped. They say jump and the net will appear. I had to jump, man, and the net was, I had to trust the net was going to appear. So fast forward now, a couple of years later, it was probably 20 November. Well, let's jump back to about July of 2015. 2 years into the business, everything's going really well. We had close to 100 members at this point, and I started hiring coaches, started to train them underneath the systems that we had. Things were going really well, so I decided, hey, I'm 6 years out of bobsled. Why don't I just try to make another run at it? I've got 3 years before the next Olympics. I can train really hard and do this. And first couple of months of training went pretty well. I was getting more fatigued and tired than normal, and it led me to get a sport physical, which I needed to get anyways, and that led to multitude of other tests because my liver enzymes were super high. It was causing me extra fatigue. My liver was enlarged. All sorts of things were happening that were not good, and so that led to follow-up appointments, doctor's appointments, and kind of led to me having to not train for the sport that I loved, that I wanted to get back into. And that November, I was advised to get a liver biopsy. And I don't know if anybody on the call has ever got a liver biopsy. Just I don't recommend it. But after that test, I got the call that none of us ever want to get, and it was from the doctor that actually performed the test. And usually you have the nurse or the practitioner call you, and I had the doctor call me straight up, and the first words out of his mouth were, "Hey, Ben, it's Dr. Boschert over at Utah Gastroenterology. Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down?" And I said, "Well, not yet, but let me sit down for this." And it turned into something that he had never seen, and it was really he found a rare form of cancer that was infiltrating my liver, a rare form of leukemia. And so that kind of brought me into perspective on what was able to do at the time. And I was working too much. I was putting in too many hours. I was too stressed. I was, trying to do everything, with going back into the sport and everything else that I was doing. And so I had to slow down, and it forced me to slow down and to find some perspective in life. And over the last 2 years, I'm happy to say my first year working with doctors and oncologists was really hard because they couldn't figure out what medication was going to work best and what chemotherapy treatment was going to work best. It's been a whole year kind of turning the wheels doing that. And then my second year of treatment was the best I could have asked for. I went to a different hospital up at Huntsman Cancer Institute, and they took care of me really amazingly well, and did a year of chemotherapy. And I'm happy to say I just went in last week for my follow-up, 3-month follow-up, and I'm 9 months, leukemia and cancer free right now. So that's been a really cool deal. So, but in that time, this obviously, you want me to tell my whole story. That's pretty much the whole story, is the shortest version I can give you. I had to step away from the business for a period of time there, and just recently, we have seven coaches and administrators and managers, and I kind of, in July, I had a week-long vacation. I spent a week out in California with Rachel and Cosgrove. I'm educate over there with them. I'm on their faculty, so it's really honored to be a part of that. And I spent 2 weeks out of the business completely. I'd never done that before. And the building didn't burn down. Nothing bad happened. Everybody stayed okay. So the cool thing about when you start to be able to kind of manage people and bring the best out of them, and then also have systems and an environment and a culture to create that, amazing things happen. So now I'm at a point where, I'm not in the trenches, which I used to love that. And I still do actually love training, but I'm not in the trenches every day because that doesn't support the business the best. So I support the business by being more the visionary and being more of support to my staff and my team and training them and doing those things. So is that kind of what you wanted?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to say all of a sudden, I saw the light and I was born and then go to every single thing, no, that's awesome. That's what I wanted to hear. It's congrats, man, just for it's just being in, your success first off, but then just being in remission. I'm sure that's been a total relaxation, a little bit more for your family, because that's got to be the hardest part,
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, diving in back when you were actually in a box gym,
Hmm.
That's where it all started, right? Like, I mean, obviously, get your vision and what your passion is. It started in like school and then moving through and being an athlete and so forth. But before every young trainer, their vision, most young trainers, their vision is, I want to own my own business, right? I want to have a
Yeah.
box gym and I want to have my own clients, my own coaches. I want to do this on my own. And there's lots of pros to it, I'm sure, and there's definitely some cons, some hardships, I'm sure, too, with it. But you had to start in that box gym. So what would be some of your insight of being able to take care of your business within a business to even get to that point where you could have that conversation with your family and say, I'm going to, like step out of the box and start doing my own things. But if you can't be successful where they're basically advertising for you and people are walking through the door, there's no way you're going to have it on your own. So what are some of the things that you help systemize to help that?
Yeah, no, great question. So the first thing that I think we did pretty well was we systemized and systematized the customer experience. So at the time it was just me coaching, so it was kind of easy. The customer experience was very similar because it was just me inside that box gym. So I could create the most amazing experience that I thought was a great experience for the client. But it had to be the same whether I was training somebody at 6 a.m. or that same day training a client at 6 p.m. It started out one-on-one, to be honest. Like, that's all that I knew, and that was all that was given to me when I very first started one-on-one training. And now in the industry, we know that, like, in order to affect and help more people, we have to have things systemized, whether it's program design, your the way you deliver your product has to be really, really has to be different. So what I did was I started to use program design systems and putting together templates for clients and their customized programs. So everybody that walked through the door had their own individualized, customized program, and that built a ton of value for them. And so if they were training on their own, or if they were stacked and training with 2 or 3 other people, it was totally okay. And it actually, you think about it from a coaching perspective, like, is it going to be harder at first for a coach to train 3 people at a time with each person on their own unique program where you're not telling them all to do the same thing? Like, yeah, heck yeah, it's going to be tougher. But are you going to be able to affect more people and change more lives? Yes. And so that's like when my business made that big kind of dramatic change inside the box gym, is when I started to systematize our program design and systematize the client experience, the customer experience. So those are the 2 big things. But really, getting results is obviously that's obviously an important part, and sharing those with your avatar client. Making sure that you're sharing success stories inside your gym, because your people want to share, like, when they reach a result, when they're able to do a certain thing or hit their goals. They want to you want to have a place and a space where they can share that and have that inclusivity of being able to share and share successes. So that's what we currently do now. It's really good at sharing people's amazing stories and getting people to look at that and say, that could be me, and having them look in the mirror and really have a place where they can feel safe to do that. But in the beginning, it was really for us, like, at first I could only train, how many hours do you have in the day? 12 hours in the day. What do you normally train from 6 till 10 is the busy time. You take a break from 10 to 2, 10 to 3, you have workout, you have lunch. 3 to 7, you train 4 more people. You have 8 clients. 8 clients a day. You can do that times 6 days a week. That's 48 clients. When I changed my model at the big box gym, it went from training only having, probably 20 to 30 people I could actually reach, because I was training those people. Said it's really important to come in 2 or 3 days a week. So you put them on their packages of 1, 2, or 3 day a week coaching sessions. And it went from that to, I can impact a heck of a lot more people by creating these customized programs, get them in groups of 3 or 4 at a time. And now I'm working, 5 or 6 hours in the morning, and that was about it, really. I kind of cut my evenings, and I found a niche, and I could train 6 times 5, that's 30. So 6 times 4, 24. So I could train about 24 to 30 people a day. And it grew my membership. It kind of doubled, tripled my membership very quickly. And we offered a better product. We charged less for it, and we got better results. So, I mean, that was kind of the game changer for me.
No, that's awesome. Because I mean, like, I'm glad you went over that, because I think people still coming in young to the industry don't understand that. Plus, like you said, it's really hard to coach at first until you get used to it. And I've had discussions with you, like, we're moving more towards that. We're big on CFSE, so we have the Boyle systemized approach. So when we bring them in, like, it's easy, right? You just find those entry points and you progress, regress, find empty buckets and fill them. That's pretty much what you're doing. So it's great for the business, but also, like, our coaches aren't going, like you said, from 5 a.m. till 10. Okay, I'm lucky if I can, like, somebody cancels and I can go take a pee. And then I'll just work out and have something to eat and then do it all over again. And that's terrible for family life. You get overburned out. It's not the greatest for clients because they get 30 minutes with you and it ends up being a counseling session instead of an hour that's had a good culture, good group training session. You're going to get better results too. So, I mean, that's awesome. But the thing I don't think we're doing the greatest at is some coaches are, but overall in the clubs is I think we need more of a system approach for, like you said, that's the programming. There's still stuff we got to work on, but overall I think we're being very successful and we're moving forward on that. It's the other part of systemization where you're talking about, like, more the people version of things, right? Like, hey, what's our onboarding process? How do I keep connection with this client consistently when they're not even at the gym to keep them accountable? Like, what are some of the systems you kind of put in play to help with that?
Great question. Yeah, we have an entire we call it a new member indoctrination process. So what we found is for renewals, which is the most important part of any business, right, is renewing the client and keeping them in retention, is we have a 30-day kind of indoctrination process, and it has about, probably 20 touch points, like personal touch points. I'll give you some examples. So someone signs up at our gym, they sign the paperwork, they get like $100-something, $150 worth of swag. So they get a swag bag. We congratulate them becoming a member. We get that big high, right? And then right when they leave, they get a text message right to their phone. Congratulations on becoming a member, Jane. We cannot wait to work with you tomorrow at 7 a.m. or whatever it is. And then they get a phone call later that day or a day before their scheduled appointment. They get a welcome email that goes out that same day that they sign up. So they get the welcome email, the text message just to congratulate them. And that's all in the first day. And then they get a obviously a call, text before their workout, day before. They get a call, text after the workout, however they like to be contacted, telling them something specific they did in their session that was amazing, to let them know they kicked ass. But we like to do that over the phone, especially to hear their vocal tones and to make sure that, they're excited about the process and they're still, engaged and that sort of thing. If we need to, we'll text. But from there, they get a first week email. So they'll get an email in the first week saying, this is what to, basically, congratulations on your first week with us. These are things to expect over the next 3 weeks in your first month with us. Because in our systems, so let me back up a little bit. We work kind of backwards. We reverse engineer the client's experience. So we know, based on our program design and our kind of customer design, that we want to keep this person happy for at least a year, and we got a year with them usually. So they sign up for either an annual or a 12-week membership, which is a 3-month, commitment. So based on that, we'll do those first 30 days based on that. Our talk will always be over the next year, or over the next 3 months. We're going to be looking to accomplish these things. And it really all starts with a great initial consultation. I didn't really talk about that, but the initial strategy session that we do, it lasts about an hour. We go through all their medical, all their injury, all their movement. We do a functional movement screen. We run them through all the gamuts, and we just make sure that it's all about them and their struggles, and all about them and their goals. We call them their I wills. we stamp those on their programs. We make sure that they see them. We make sure the coaches see them and follow up with them every time they're in the gym, to make sure we're getting closer to those. And a lot of it is just, those touch points, the new member indoctrination we do. I know I mentioned a lot of them. They get a 14-day gift from us in the mail. I mean, how many gyms send out a gift in the mail to they get a 30-day congratulations, we think you rock cards, like a handwritten card from their coach they've been working with on how awesome they're doing on XYZ. Those things are the things that keep members engaged and keep a community of people really, really involved with each other. The other thing we do a lot of things, obviously, in groups. We have get-togethers a lot of the time. We do seminars at the gym. We do all sorts of things to invite people to, not only members, but their friends. But literally the first month that we found to be the most important, we do 3, 6, 9-month follow-up. We call them Rockstar Strategy Sessions. So every quarter we ask the client, we let them know this part of their membership, they get to schedule just a check-in strategy session with us to go over a reset of their goals. Maybe they lost 15, 20 pounds in their first 3 months because they did a challenge with us, and they're like, you know what, I hit my body comp goals, like what's next? We're like, oh shit, like good question. Let's talk about what the next step is. So I don't want to belabor it too much, but we do a lot to connect inside the gym, outside the gym. Our coaches have daily checklists they do with the clients, not only with scheduling, with sending out those We Think You Rock cards, with checking in on their visits per month to make sure they're coming in how often they said they want to come in. We can't work with somebody if they say, I can only come in, like once a month, based on your goals and, wanting to lose body fat, I don't think this would be a good fit for you. Or even like once a week, we can work really well with clients that can commit maybe 2 to 3 days a week. And those are the people we love to work with. So you got to make sure you're obviously working with your avatar client and people that can commit to whatever their lifestyle, whatever their goals are. But that's been really helpful for us. And I don't know if people can, when they listen to this and maybe the recording, they can jot down some of that stuff, and it can be, I think, game changers. So.
No, I think that's awesome. Like, even when I look at you guys like social media and stuff like that, you're not bullcrapping. Everything you just told me is true. It's like, I always see you guys like, here's a cupcake because it's their birthday,
Yeah.
And here's our coaches teaching like a seminar to our clients, or I'm sure they do it to the other coaches too, right? To help them like all get better. But like everything you said, like I've seen that even on your social media, you're basically, you're constructing celebrations and community within your club. And I haven't walked into your club yet, but Dan told me like basically you walk in and everybody's just like, hey! Like all at once, right? So,
yeah, great to client by name. Like how many of your trainers at Boston Fitness? Not to like, point the finger or anything, but how many people like at your front desk like actually know the members by their name? Maybe hopefully the coach, the training members, the one that are paying the extra money. Hopefully they're in there more often. I know you guys have a huge, thousands of members and whatnot, but it's important, like that, little things like that, like knowing people's names before they scan their little card or whatever. It's a cool thing. Like we always greet our members by their name and make sure we use their name at least 8 to 10 times in the session, because we're training 3 people. They have to make sure that that they know that we know and care about them while they're there. So using the name is like the most powerful thing you can do, for sure.
I've always heard that, and I'm a big believer in it. Like that person, that's the most beautiful word in any language to them is their name. So when you can use it, it's just impactful the whole time.
Yes.
I'm going to open, there's a few people that came on the live call.
Awesome.
I'm going to see if they have any questions before I keep going on.
Yeah. I'd love to chat it up.
You guys can either chat it, or since there's not a ton on the live one, if you guys even want to just unmute yourself and ask, go for it.
You can tell Jordan looks like he's in deep thought over there. He's got anything good?
I know Jordan's got a question, so hey, Don't make me ask the question, Jordan. Hop on, ask away.
Yeah, don't be shy.
That's why I was in deep thought. I was trying to come up with a question.
Awesome.
So the one question I do have for you, as far as retaining those clients past a year, how are you able to do that? Because it sounds like your memberships last year, are you able to maintain some of a large percentage of those clients past that year?
Yeah, great question. So in our process, like I talked about, those first 30 days are we found to be the most impactful. It's really hard to do like a new member indoctrination the last 30 days, but that's what we tried to do. Like when we first started, we're like, oh, shit, they're on month 11 and we've got 1 month to like wow them and we'll do all this stuff. It doesn't work. They've already made their decision. Usually in those first 30 to 90 days, they've made the decision on whether or not they're going to renew. So if you do all those things on the front end, we found our success rate so much higher when we have that systemized on the front end to carry out through the year and just to give them that amazing experience on the front end. Now, we also do things a little bit different, a couple things a little bit differently at our gym from a lot of other gyms. So we always ask for the renewal. So at the 45 to 60 day mark before their renewal comes up at the year, we send out an awesome, card to them that says, congratulations on your year with us. We can't wait to be part of many more years with you. And then we send out a renewal letter, like more of a form letter within 30 days to let them know that they're up for renewal within 30 days. It does not auto renew. We actually have to sit down and sign new paperwork with them. And so I think that's powerful where you're not saying, you're not just like on an auto, like so many things in our lives auto renew if you don't cancel it, right? For them, they only sign 12 months. And so, or they only sign 3 months. And so we always are asking for that renewal. And I think that's kind of a pretty impactful thing, asking the client and asking, and just, the way we put it is like, we've had an amazing year with you. We cannot wait to continue with you. And, basically asking for their business, for another year. Like we love having your business, and it would mean the world to us to continue to work with you and to regain your business. So we have those talks one-on-one with all of our clients. And so some trainers, it can be a tough conversation to have if maybe they haven't seen the results that they've been looking for, or but we found about 78, we're around 78 to 80% retention on our annual members. And so, we lose 2 out of 10, but it could be for all sorts of things. And, we always try to make an excuse, oh, they moved, or, oh, they've had to move up or do something or change, whatever happened. But a lot of times it was like, oh, they didn't really get a great 30-day first experience, or we weren't so dialed in on that back then, or we stopped tracking that they weren't coming in, 8 times a month. They were only coming in twice a month, or whatever it was, and we dropped the ball usually. So once we started to dial in and button up those systems, we found that our renewals went up, and so we're hovering around like 80% for those reasons. Does that kind of help, Jordan?
Yeah, it sounds like that first 30 days for you is really make it or break it. And if you can create that wow moment or that bond with them in that 30 days and show the value they're buying, you've got a client for life.
Yeah, for sure. It starts in the 30 days. It definitely you cannot get a client in the last 30 days. That's what we learned. We learned the hard way at first. We didn't have any 30-day process, any new member indoctrination. It's actually a 3-month process. The first 3 months, they get a lot of cool stuff on the front end. For those first 3 months. And then it doesn't stop there, right? Like we don't stop making phone calls and texting clients and sending them "We think you rock" cards. Like we do it every month. So it's a part of their life now, and being a part of our community. So that's the important part, is don't stop it just after 30 days. It's got to be part of your systems ongoing for their entire life of their membership. But yeah, so I think the most important part too is like, how can you make a client experience inside that session, inside that hour, inside that gym? Like what are you doing where the client will basically, like, I forget who said this, but like, how can you make the client experience such an experience that they actually leave the gym, get on their cell phone, call their friends and tell them, I cannot believe that what I just did with Jordan was so amazing. I need to tell you about this guy, and like, you got to come try it with me. Like, are we doing that? Are we getting people like to refer without even asking them, because of the experience we gave them? I'll give you an example. Someone in one of our mastermind groups had a client call in, couldn't make the workout, right? He called like 30 minutes before. He's like, God, my car broke down. I couldn't make it in. I'm so sorry. You know what the coach said? He said, where are you at? I'm at so-and-so, whatever car place. Stay right there. We've got an Uber on your way. It's like 5 minutes from you. We're going to pick you up and bring you to the gym. And, what do you think that did to that member? Like, it made him a client for life, because they went out of their way to have an Uber pick him up from his broken down car and take him to the gym, and he still got his workout in. Like, that's the client experience. Like, we have a lot of crap happen in our gym, right? Like, deaths happen. We celebrate everything. We mourn everything, right? So if there's a death in the family, if there's an injury, we send out flowers, or we do edible arrangements. We don't forget about stuff. We don't forget about anniversaries, birthdays, like Nick said. Like, all those things are celebrated. Like, how do you think your client would feel if it was their birthday, they came in and trained with you on your birthday, and you didn't even mention it because you didn't even have a system to know whether it was their birthday or not, or if it was their anniversary? We ask those questions on the front end so we can really celebrate those things with them, and make a big deal out of it. And those little things, man, like those little thank you cards, those little anniversary cards, those we do birthday bars now, dark chocolate, not cupcakes anymore. Those kind of things, it's what enhances a member experience and makes them think, like, the last gym I went to, nobody ever knew my birthday or my anniversary. Like, those little things, they all add up to something bigger, which is kind of that third place. So I don't know if people are too young for this probably, but anybody ever watch Cheers?
Yeah.
Like Starbucks or whatever. Like, think of it as like, people only have three places they go, right? They have work. They've got home, they've got work, and then they have that third place. Usually Starbucks. Think of it as Cheers, back, the bar or whatever. It's that third place where they can feel like they have a community of people that are similar to them. And so that third place for us is Epic Fitness. Like, we want that third place to be Epic Fitness for all of our members. Like, it's the only other place they think about going besides work and home. So if we can be that third place and be that third place in their lives and be consistently, we're going to have them for a long time. So, and it's not about, like, I think I've heard this too the last several months. It's like, some people are like, oh, you're doing the person disservice when they have to commit to 12 months. Well, we have a couple options. We have a shorter term option, but I don't feel like we're doing that. I feel like we're helping support them into their, in making a lifestyle change. Like, all these short-term programs popping up now, these 6-week, challenges, and it's just almost a make it or break it sort of deal for the client and the trainer. It's unhealthy, and it's hard to sustain. And it's hard for the client to keep moving from quick fix to quick fix. And it's something we don't believe in. We believe in, a quick start or a jump start, sort of thing, where it kind of can start them into an amazing process of making it a longer term commitment for them and a longer term kind of, health benefits. We know as coaches and trainers, like, physiologically, not a lot's going to happen in 4 or 6 weeks. You may lose 20 pounds by starving yourself, but it ain't gonna stay off, healthfully. So
you're trying to basically make sure that it's a lifestyle choice instead of going like, yeah, you're just looking for the sexy pill. I'll help you with that, and it's not realistic.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. But I would argue with anybody. I mean, obviously, as a business owner and having a good business model in place, it includes having, a monthly EFT and having people that are committed to the process and having a good basis of receivables for our business. But at the same time, like, that's not only helping our business, it's helping our client, because they are committing to us too. Like, we're as committed to them as they are to us, but like, it needs to be like the feelings have to be mutual there, right? And so we just need to create that.
So first off, that's awesome, because I love how you said, like, hey, this is the Cheers, right? It's the third place. And I think you guys do a great job from what I've seen, right? What I've heard. It's basically, you treat everyone like I do with my clients because I really love them, and I've done this for years. I have clients that have been with me for years, and now they're family, right? Like I'm inviting them out to the barbecue and doing things not to keep clients. Like that's a byproduct, which is awesome because you've got to have clients to have a business. But they're friends, right? They're your family. But once that becomes that niche, it also helps that business. So I think it's pretty awesome what you guys are doing. So do you have anyone that's in charge of just selling, or is everyone in charge, all your trainers?
Yeah, we have a sales team, and it's just one. It's two people. It's myself a little bit, but we have a manager of the gym that also does all the sales. It's not the coaches. So the coaches work on what they're really good at, which is coaching and retaining the member and keeping all the things we just talked about. And we have a sales team that's really focused on the sales process, the new member indoctrination and all that stuff. I think I don't think it needs to be separate in every business, but I think it's important that you have a good setup where your coaches don't have to maybe when I was a coach at the big box gym, I had to sell every member, right? It was part of my job to sell them to what they needed to have, but I feel like having it separated a little bit as a business, it's worked really well for us. Not saying that coaches couldn't sell or do a performer strategy session and sell. And we're actually looking at one of our coaches is such a rock star with kind of those coaching conversations and having those awesome kind of insights that, it depends on, do we want to make that transition for him to go into more of the sales process, or is he just a great coach, and keep working on what he's great at, So I don't know if I answered the question there. Sorry.
So so that's kind of our system for now. We have basically, like our sales team that sell the memberships and the PT, and then our coaches just coach and, like you said, retain. So it's like, just do what you do best and make sure that you make it a great experience, and then we'll keep those members. That's great. These guys are a little bit better with the language of getting someone bought in to start with us. What's some of the stuff you teach your sales team then to kind of like get them into Epic and just like get started?
Yeah. We asked three questions at the very beginning. The first question is, what do you want to accomplish with this? You could almost say, on the table, we use this technique. We just say, if you had a magic wand, like if anything was possible, what would you want to accomplish while you're with us over these next 3 or 12 months or whatever they decide on, like what is super important to you? And then we kind of take the layers off the onion. We ask the next question is why? Like, why is that important to you? What difference will that make in your life? And then they say, here's what we'll get. I want to lose 10 pounds. Why? So I could feel better. Why? Well, sorry. Then the follow-up question is, how would that make you feel? What in your life would change as a result of you feeling better? I actually could be able to kind of get down on the ground and play around with my grandkids for, a half a day, because I wasn't able to do that, 2 months ago, but now now I can, or I could see myself in the future being able to play with my grandkids or whatever. It's like, boom, there you go. There's you peeled the onion one layer and you got that real reason. I want to fit better in my clothes. Cool. That's a great reason. Why? Because none of them in my closet fit. Well, that's not the why. Ask the next question. How would it make you feel if we were able to pull out any piece of clothing in your closet and it fit amazing? Like, how would that make you feel? Like, I'd feel so much more confident. I'd have social confidence. I'd have like the ability to go out on dates again, like this and that, and like, boom, there it is, like catch those. And then we ask, what's been your biggest obstacle in the past from you achieving these goals? And so we get all the obstacles are actually our way of in the front end getting all their objections, right? What are the obstacles? Time, money, spouse. If you can overcome those obstacles on the very, very front end of a strategy session, you can do amazing things. I'll give you an example, okay? I'll give you the spouse example. How many times you guys get the spouse example? Raise your hand, right? I need to talk to my husband first about this, right? It happens all the time. How do you prevent that from happening? You cover it on the very, very first thing you ask, right? They're filling out their strategy session form with us, right? It has contact info, emergency contact info. They put their spouse's name. Oh, awesome. Looks like we have John as your emergency contact. Is John a big supporter of yours here? Does he support you coming in today and doing what you're doing and kind of changing your lifestyle and changing your life to look into all this? Does he support you and your goals at home? Yeah, he supports me. Like if they say yes, you're already one step closer to like you have a yes that they're supporting. You know, that's an example of what we use depending on the client and their, you know, you got to work on personality types and all that, but like gather that information on the front end. Make sure you have that information on the front end. You know, obviously the money and time ones. The time one's an easy one, right? So we go over hours. Like here are our hours at the gym. Based off of our hours and on your schedule, how many days a week could you train with us? Just ask the question. If we get the 1 day a week or 1 day a month training client, like, I don't know if this will be the right program or fit for you. If you get the, you know, I can come in probably 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I know I have these times available. Awesome. Let's come up with a schedule that's going to work well for you. And then you commit to it together. And there goes the time objection. They can't use that on the back end when you're saying these are our memberships. Well, I don't have time to do this, or you know what? I need to talk to my husband first. We just talked about your husband, right? You don't say that, but like what we found is when we bring the objections up ahead of time and actually already when we've already kind of covered the objections already. We don't get those on the back end. We don't get the time, money, spouse. Before, when we didn't do that, we always got time, money, and spouse. And then they're walking up and they're leaving, you know, because you just weren't able to kind of overcome those objections on the front end. So is that helpful?
Yeah. So you're saying you're getting 3 levels deep with their emotions, right? Instead of just that superficial stuff. And then you're just breaking down walls before it even comes up, right? Like, hey, I tore down this wall of spouse. I tore down the wall of time. Basically, we're on money, and that's usually where we end up with the wall, right? And because that's just breaking it down of like how many copies do you have a week, what are you doing this, and like just trying to figure out where can we find the money, because it's really important to you, isn't it? Based on what you just told me on your emotional goals to it.
Yeah, and if I can add to that with the money one, that's your job as the coach or as the front end of doing the sales process. If you have a great sales process, if you go through all the you know, we use feature benefit feedback. We go through a feature of the gym, but it's not like about like this is a kettlebell, like this you can do so much with a kettlebell. It's more like how will that kettlebell like benefit them as a client based on their specific goals, right? So you could say this is a kettlebell, or you could say, you know, Nick, what's awesome about Epic Fitness is we use all types of equipment. One piece that we use a lot of is a kettlebell, because you can do so many exercises where you can actually increase your metabolism, burn extra body fat, and go through kind of multi-joint movements that will actually help you move, feel, and live better. Just kind of what we talked about earlier. Does that sound like something to be amazing for you to try out with us? You know, and then you end with, you know, a yes. Like if they answer a yes, you're one step closer to that yes at the end. If you create that, if you customize their experience inside that first hour and create an amazing kind of session with them, and then it comes back to money, it's that you did not provide a good enough experience. You did not provide enough value to it, because at the end of our strategy sessions, when we throw out the pricing guide, the membership guide sheet, and we show them, we want them to look at it saying, you know, it's so and so. How much is it a month? Is this much a month? We want them to think it was like 3 times that much. based on the value we gave them, right? Like some people are like, oh, geez, I thought it was gonna be a lot more than that. And that's when you know, like you provided so much value in like what they're getting that the price is no longer a barrier because you just blasted it out and hit a home run with the value proposition. So a lot of times it's not like we just got to find money and stop drinking so much coffee and, stop going to the movies and all that. Like maybe that's their lifestyle. They want to do, it's going to be hard for them to adjust with that. But a lot of it is like provide the value proposition is a huge one. If we can make our membership feel like it's worth twice as much as what it is when they sign up, they think they're getting an awesome deal, or we give them a little extra incentive. We give them additional sessions on the front end, to really give them a good jump start into their training program. But it's an added value, right? So instead of offering free stuff, stop offering free stuff. Give them extra value, right? Don't give them a free month. Give them extra value, like extra sessions, extra stuff, like whatever you can give them to add value to that. And that can change the whole sales process, I think.
No, I love that. Just because you're basically saying it doesn't mean you couldn't go with like, hey, where can we find the budget? But almost anything in life, right? You're paying for it because you find some kind of value to it. And if you don't find enough value, that's where people are like, it sounds great. I want to get to my goals, but is it worth it? And so like breaking that down at the very beginning, I love that. I won't take too much more of your time. First, I'm just going to see if Jordan, you got any other questions, or Anastasia on here, Mary? Okay, I'm going to ask just a couple more questions here. I'll let you go. But thank you for hopping on, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So the first one, because how long have you been in the industry now?
Sorry. Yeah.
Just be in the fitness industry, like doing the grind.
Yep, the grind since December of 2007. So 11 years, is that? Almost 11 years? Yeah.
Just a little bit of time. Yeah. And, you're over a decade now, so.
Yeah, I'm only 20. I'm only 27, so, do the math.
If you were to talk to your young self as a trainer, when you first started out, in the first year, 2 years, maybe in the first 3 years, what are some of the advice you would give yourself?
That's a great question. The first thing I would probably tell him is, you're not always right. I thought that or it's okay to change. Like it's okay to change, like what you do, or change your opinion on things. Like I used to think that like every client should be doing a certain exercise because it's the best exercise, right? But then you realize you can't always fit a square peg in a round hole, and everybody's unique and different. To a point, where you have to change. Mike Boyle said it best. I think you know Mike Boyle really well. Is like I am. What does he say? He says I have the right to change my opinion, and at the point where it's like, and I don't care like if you're pissed off, like that just means I'm continuing to learn. And for my first couple of years, I wasn't doing that. I don't think I was doing that well. I think I was kind of set in my own ways and my own opinion. I think a lot of us as coaches and trainers get that way a little bit. And it's like, no, this is the best way for my client, or this is the best nutrition plan, or this is the best training exercise or program or whatever. But like, it's okay to change based on new stuff that comes out, science, data, like you actually testing it with 1,000 people and learning like that shit doesn't work, or that shit does work, and I'm going to change my opinion based off of that. I think I didn't do a good job of that in the beginning. It took me several years to be okay with changing my mind and being okay with people being upset about it maybe a little bit at first. And that's probably the biggest advice I give myself. Also, I think back then, I feel like I was compassionate, but I don't feel like I was as compassionate as I am now with people, with clients in general and stuff. I think compassion goes a long ways, and learning how to be compassionate, learning how to have those kind of crucial conversations with your clients and with your staff, and to kind of maybe step into their shoes a little bit and see where they're coming from. understanding how they feel, let them know that you know, if you've had people, that we probably all have had people feel that way before, let them know, like, we've had people feel that way. I totally understand how you feel. You know, people felt that way in the past, and just having compassion, and then leading them in the direction of where they want to go, or having a solution, you know, for them. A lot of times, I think in the beginning, I don't know if I had the tools necessary to be as compassionate as I am now, and as our team is now. So teaching compassion, I think, and then also being wrong sometimes, and changing your mind, and being okay with that based on the science and the evidence and the stuff out there that's working. And you know, being totally transparent with that, with whoever you're working with. Like, gosh, if all you did with your clients for years was back squats, and that's all I did with my clients for the first couple of years, was we would always progress to back squats, because that was like the holy grail, right? To, gosh, my back hurts after my back squat. Saying, you know what, we're going to goblet squat now because I found a better way, you know, or whatever it is. This is an example, right? Like, we're not going to still back squat and be like, it's going to work, you know. That helped me a lot to learn that, like, it's okay to change, you know, it's okay to make changes. The whole industry is changing all the time. We're just infants in this industry. I just listened to a podcast with John Berardi. He's like, literally, like, look at a field like chemistry, right? Chemistry is thousands of years old. What they start with alchemy, and they started with, like, trying to figure out, like, to make metals into gold, and, like, it took like 1,000 to 1,500 years for them to even figure out that they thought that there was like 3 base elements, right? Well, shit, they were wrong for thousands of years. Fitness industry, like, literally only started like in the 1970s, like, where people started to do fitness for health and fitness for what we're doing it for. Like, it started like in the 70s. We're in such the early stages that, like, you know, all of us will be long gone before real kind of good, really great things start to happen. And that's the argument that John Berardi had, and I kind of agree with it. Like, you know, we might make a small dent, you know, but the big changes, like where we can affect thousands of people that are obese, and, you know, have a safe place for, you know, the 300+ pound client, which, you know, as Dan John says, like, I'm not going to touch that person. Like, I'm going to refer them to a doctor, a dentist, and an eye doctor, you know, to make sure that they're okay first. Which I agree with. Like, you have to kind of have an intervention with those people, but, like, could we have a safe place for people to go that's inclusive and supportive and welcoming to all the people that are, you know, that are struggling with obesity? They don't feel safe in a place. They probably don't feel, they feel like they're going to get judged in our gym, probably still, you know, but there's still a lot to come into our gym. How do we make it a welcoming place to do that? Do you do kind of like what, this is just ideas I'm throwing out, what Curves did, right? I don't know, like, do you make it a specialty gym just for the people that need your help the most, right? Do you do that? I don't know what the solution is. I think that somebody's going to come up with a solution. It's going to be amazing and fabulous, and I think it's going to reach thousands of people, but I don't think we've gotten there yet. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. I think the biggest thing that you touched on that is, like, just, I think of my own self, and that's the same thing. And I don't know, even if you were to tell yourself, if you would be ready. That's the crazy thing. Not maybe about movement patterns and learning and all that kind of stuff, but passion, it almost comes with time and understanding it. You like, and just life in general, but even training these clients and having a better understanding. Because I know when we even, like, talked to Boyle about stuff, he was even talking about the obese, and he didn't really have to train them, right? And he was training more athletes and youth population, and he would be even like, oh, they're just lazy, like, just get on a treadmill until you lose some weight kind of idea. And he's like, and I started training a few of them. And he's like, I have a whole different mindset now with that. And it's just because he didn't get to that information first, so he saw it differently, you know? And so it's crazy to think of that, of just have some compassion, you know? And that's our industry. Like, our friend Marco Sanchez said it perfectly, you know, like, we're in a customer service business with a sprinkle of fitness. And if we can get that taken care of, like everything comes together, you know.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
So I'll let you go because I know it's 9 o'clock. Unless you can answer me this one last thing. Hopefully it's not too long of a story.
Sure.
We got to bring Dan up at the very end here. What's your story? How'd you meet Dan? Because you know him 7 years now, right? Is that how long?
Yeah. I've known him for probably longer. I mean, 2000 and gosh, my first Perform Better. I go to Long Beach every year. I'll be in my 10-year anniversary of going to Perform Betters, and I go to the one usually in Long Beach. And I saw him in 2010. I think was his first Perform Better. And I just introduced myself. I'm like, hey, you're Dan John. You live in Utah. Like, you're a thrower, because I was a thrower, you know. And I was doing Highland Games at the time, and I'm like, we should go out and do a Highland Games, you know. And he was limping around because he had just got his hip surgery. I think it was 2010 or 2011, whatever year that was. First time I actually like introduced myself to him, and we kind of hit it off after that. I took the RKC in 2016. Yeah, I was in the middle of I was halfway through my chemo treatment. I took the RKC. Don't suggest that, by the way. He was he was just super supportive during that time. I train with him. I try to get out there once a week when I can to train with him. And he's just a masterful coach and amazing with coaches. Like he knows how to coach coaches. He knows how to coach clients, and he knows how to be compassionate. But our relationship is one of just, having similar backgrounds in sport, and now, you know, my role's changed now to be more working with my team to make the best environment for our clients, and his is to coach the coaches to be better to do that, you know. And like, so we have similar goals in that, you know. And he's changing the industry so dramatically with how much impact he has in doing these seminars and traveling all over the world and just giving his time in that way. And it's a goal of mine to be able to impact more people. You have to reach outside of your box and outside your four walls, and I'm starting to do that a little bit more now. And I think Dan's just a great representation of ability to reach more people in a positive way. But our relationship is one of just kind of cool camaraderie and learning from each other. And I learned a ton from him, and it's been a great mentor to me.
No, thank you. That's perfect. And I think that's one of his biggest assets. Obviously, the guy's smart as hell, but it's also that community that he built. That's how I got to even meet you and some other people that come and show up and just work out and lift heavy shit together, right? And then things come out of it. And as long as people give a shit and
yeah. Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't know if you're going to give time for this, but I'd love to share like my contact info, because that's one thing. If anybody wants to get a hold of me with this stuff, I can.
Yeah, please do before we get off the call. So if they want to get a hold.
Okay. I apologize for interrupting you there, but I just want to make sure that I had time to do this. But you guys can find us on, you know, social media. It's just Epic Fitness Utah on Facebook or Epic Fitness Utah on Instagram. We post a lot of stuff there. EpicFitnessUtah.com is our website. My personal email is just ben@EpicFitnessUtah.com. And I'll even do the Dan John thing. If anybody wants to call me, I would be more than happy to take the call. My personal cell phone number is, are you ready for this? Weird area code, 530-559-5895. I don't know how many fives are in there, but there's a lot. But yeah, just feel free to shoot me an email, follow up if anybody wants to talk more about this stuff. I know we just kind of skimmed the surface with a lot of things. Hopefully it was useful information for you and your team. And I'd love to always get on the call anytime, man. I'd be more than happy to even come out. I know Dan's come out a lot to visit your team. I'd be more than happy to, if your sales team needs help with sales coaching, if your training team needs help with training or systemizing anything, you know, that's kind of where I'm going with stuff. So.
No, I appreciate the hell out of you, and thanks for the contact too, because that helps a lot. Because then people can reach out and actually find out, like you said, more than, you know, that surface level But I'll let you go because I know it's like 9:04, so we went a little bit over an hour even. And I'm sure
That's
you
okay.
got some crap to do. So, dude, I appreciate it. I'll send you an email or a text afterwards because I'd love to just get an address from you that I can send a thank you. But maybe actually I see you all the time. I'll just give it to you in person.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. So thanks so much, Ben. And I'll send you this too once we're all done with the link and everything.
All right, Nick. Thanks so much, and thanks, guys, for staying on. I know Anastasia, I think, and Mary's iPhone. They're still on the call. That's pretty amazing. Thanks for listening. And then,
all right, cool.
and then, yeah, have a great day, guys.